Hello everyone. Welcome to Oracle Apex Training by Unopix. In this session, we'll see how to write SQL commands in Oracle Apex Workspace. So as usual, yes, you have to first log into Oracle Apex Workspace. And when you go to SQL Workshop, the second option that you see in there called SQL commands, this is a navigation option that we need to get into. And the moment you click on SQL commands, it would open up a worksheet like this, like what you're seeing on screen. And in this particular SQL worksheet, you can write any commands that you want. So all the SQL commands are supported, be it DDL, DML, or DCL. All the commands are supported here. So let's see how this works. So I'm in Oracle Apex Workspace here, and I'm going into SQL Workshop. I go into SQL commands, and that would open up a SQL worksheet, and I can write any SQL commands that I want here. So let's try to quickly create a table. I'm going to say create table. Employee. I would say employee ID, number, and I want to create it as a primary key. Employee name, and that is more meaningful for this. And I would say not null. That's fine. We'll just say employee name, and you can say we'll have employee. Yeah, we will have two name columns otherwise. We'll have a first name, and you will have last name. And you can also have employee number as well. And again, I want to create this as a varchar column. So this way you can create you can write a create table script, and after you write the table script, you can go ahead and run it as well. And after you run it, you should be able to see that the table space is already created. And if I just duplicate this, if you go into the object browser now, you should be able to see the table created as well. So whatever table that I created here, employee, I should be able to find the table here. And when I search for it, I can go ahead and open it. I should be able to see the table created with whatever fields that he said, whatever columns I have entered here. And not just the table creation script, you can also insert data into it. So you can say insert into employee values. You can say 1. John Doe. And you can say employee 001. And you can repeat this. So if I want to insert 2 or 3 employees into the table, I can just write whatever SQL script that I want to execute or SQL commands that I want to run, I can directly do it from here. So I'm trying to do a DML now. Let's go ahead and see if this would work. Let's go ahead and run the insert scripts. So the last one is also a varchar column. So let me just select this particular insert statement and run it. So I'm getting an error saying that column is not allowed. Insert into employee values. Although we have to put the values in single quotes, not double quotes. So if you just change this, So you could see that the first row is already inserted. So I just have changed the code. So yes, you can let me execute the remaining two insert scripts as well. So ideally we should have two records inserted into the table now. So let me go ahead and select this line and run it. Should be able to see a record inserted, and let me also go ahead and run this. We should be able to see 3 rows inserted into the table. Now, if I go into the data tab in the employee table here, I'm able to see 3 rows in here. And remember, we haven't done a commit or a rollback yet. So let's go ahead and do a rollback and see if this would roll back the 3 employees that we have inserted. So it says, so this is one important point that you need to be aware of. So whatever statement that you're writing here, they would be committed automatically. So we cannot use a rollback command here. So whatever 3 employees that have already inserted here, they're also automatically committed as well. And similar to how you can insert a data into the table, you can also delete as well. So you can basically write. So this is as good as any other SQL worksheet for you, and you can run any SQL or PL/SQL commands here. So I've selected SQL here. You can also do a PL SQL as well. So if I say delete from table where employee ID is equal to 2, they should delete only employee 2. And that would also be committed by default. And if I go out and come back into the data tab, we should be able to see only 3 rows in here. So this way, if you want to, you see only 2 employees now. So this way, whatever SQL commands that you want to run on this Apex workspace, you can quickly open up a SQL worksheet by going into SQL workshop, SQL commands, and you should be able to write any SQL or PL/SQL logic here. And if you probably, so this would certainly help. And also when you probably write some script and you feel that there is a scope to reuse that particular script that you have written. So for example, I have a table creation script and I have an insertion records as well here, right? And also delete as well. So tomorrow, if you want to if I have to create a different table, I want to leverage this particular script, or maybe I want to save this script so that I can create the same table in a different workspace. So what I can do in such cases, I can just go ahead and save this table script. Okay, I'll save this entire SQL script as employee table creation script. Employee table creation plus insertion as well. And I can say insert script as well. So you give a meaningful name to it. And as soon as you give a meaningful name to it, you should be able to see, if you're going to SQL scripts, you would be able to find those SQL scripts stored here. Now, what you can do is you can go ahead and run them anytime you want. So if I run this particular script, I can go ahead and see it. I can go ahead and make changes to it as well, and I can also run it. But if I run this, I would certainly get an error. So this is the one. So let me go to the SQL commands to workshop. Not able to find the one that we have saved. Let me just go into SQL worksheets again. The script that I'm seeing here is an old one. But let me give it a try one more time. Not sure if it's a bug. So I'll say that it is a test script. And I'll go ahead and save it. So I'll say it's a test script. SQL, save it. And I'll go back into SQL scripts. Okay. Yeah, my bad. So when you write some commands in here, and if you save it, you would be able to see that in the save SQL scripts here, not in the SQL scripts tab. So within this particular within that particular navigation option itself, in the SQL commands itself, right at the bottom, you would be able to see save SQL here. And yes, you can quickly save those SQL scripts, and those SQL scripts would be showing up in here. and I can go ahead and populate it into the table. I can populate it into the SQL commands worksheet here again, and I can make whatever changes I want, and I can run it again. So this comes quite handy when you write some SQL, and if you think that it might come handy in future, you can go ahead and quickly give it a name and save it. Okay. And similarly, if you have probably written SQL scripts outside of Apex Workspace, maybe you have some scripts written in another SQL developer tool or somewhere else. And if you want to plug them in, then you can come into the SQL script screen, and you can also create directly the script from here. Okay. So this is how you can make use of SQL commands and the scripts options to quickly come up with a SQL that you need for your Oracle Apex development. So whatever DB objects that you want to create, or whatever DDL, DML, or DDL commands that you want to run, or DCL commands, you can execute them from these two options that you see here. Okay, and we'll be focusing on the utilities option in the next video.